Have you ever been watching a movie, like Avengers Endgame, and after a roller coaster of action and emotion, you get to the final battle? You see all the portals open and the heroes step out for one final shot to beat Thanos and the Chitauri army. And you wonder, how did they get this shot? And no, they didn't find aliens and monsters and put them on the set. The answer is an acronym you probably have heard. CGI, or computer generated imagery. And it's like magic. Computer generated imagery, or CGI, is a broad term for any visual created using a computer. Originally, it wasn't part of Hollywood at all. In the 1960s, it lived in military labs and scientific research. For example, they used it to create lines, grids, and just simple shapes. But by the late 1970s and early 1980s, movies began experimenting with digital imagery in small but groundbreaking ways. One of the first examples being Tron. Tron was one of the first films to fully embrace computer imagery, creating glowing digital landscapes, vehicles, and characters that existed almost entirely inside of a computer. The movie visualized what it might look like to be inside of a digital system. Young Sherlock Holmes. This movie introduced the first fully CGI character in a live-action film. A stained glass knight that stepped out of a church window and came to life, interacting convincingly with real actors. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan used CGI for the Genesis effect, a revolutionary sequence showing a dead planet being terraformed from space, demonstrating how computers could visualize scientific ideas far beyond physical models. The 1990s changed cinema forever by turning computer-generated imagery from a small special effect into a major part of filmmaking. During this decade, several groundbreaking films pushed the limits of what could be shown on screen, using digital technology more and more to help tell stories. CGI proved it could be realistic and emotional, then began to blend smoothly with live-action scenes, and finally made it possible to create fully digital characters and worlds. The technological progression began with The Abyss, which introduced audiences to a living water tentacle, an intelligent, transparent shape that moved with believable fluidity. This sequence was groundbreaking, proving CGI could be more than robotic shapes. It could feel organic and emotional, paving the way for more sophisticated digital characters. This potential was fully realized in Terminator 2: Judgment Day, which stunned the public with the liquid metal T-1000 villain. This character could melt, stretch, and reform seamlessly within live-action footage, establishing a new gold standard for digital morphing and seamless integration. The industry reached a critical turning point with Jurassic Park, by combining life-size animatronics with CGI dinosaurs that ran, hunted, and breathed like real animals. The film shattered the barrier between practical and digital effects. It made the fantastical feel real, drawing audiences entirely into the illusion. CGI then demonstrated its versatility with Forrest Gump. Here, the effects were used invisibly, utilizing extensive digital manipulation of historical footage to place a fictional character into real moments with historical figures. This film showed that CGI could reshape reality without the audience even noticing the manipulation. The climax of the animation revolution occurred with Toy Story, which became the first fully computer animated feature film. Its massive commercial and critical success proved that CGI could carry an entire emotional story from start to finish, establishing a new and dominant medium for the animation industry. The decade's close saw CGI used on an unprecedented scale in Titanic, where digital effects extended massive ship sets, generated thousands of digital passengers, and simulated the realistic sinking of the famous ship. The film became the first to cross the billion-dollar mark, proving that the immense commercial power of seamless integrated digital effects. Finally, films at the turn of the century, like Star Wars Episode I, Men in Black, and The Matrix, pushed the envelope even further. They showcased entirely digital alien species, expansive digital worlds, and physics-defying bullet-time action sequences. The 1990s fundamentally redefined what audiences expected from movies, cementing CGI as an indispensable tool that allowed imagination to exceed the constraints of physical reality.
CGI had a major impact on filmmaking, and it afforded filmmakers, and not from a perspective of money, but it afforded an opportunity for filmmakers to be able to create and do things on screen that probably couldn't have happened prior to computer-generated imagery.
The ultimate impact of computer-generated imagery on cinema extends far beyond mere cosmetic improvements. It fundamentally expanded what movies could be. The technology did not just provide a faster or cheaper way to create existing films. It enabled filmmakers to bring narratives to life that were once confined solely to the pages of a comic book or science fiction novels. CGI became an essential tool that allowed the human imagination to finally exceed physics, shattering the limitations of practical real-world filmmaking. The modern superhero genre, in particular, owes its massive global success almost entirely to CGI. These stories rely on suspension of disbelief that only digital effects can sustain. Consider the iconic shots of Spider-Man swinging through the city. While a stuntman might leap from a building with a safety harness, the seamless, fluid, gravity-defying movement across an entire digital Manhattan requires sophisticated computer generation. The same is true for characters like the Hulk. Him smashing tanks and leaping through the sky. The Hulk himself is an entirely digital performance, allowing for superhuman feats of strength and agility that can never be physically staged. This transformative power is just vital to the adventure and action genres. Landmark moments in film history, such as Neo flying through the skies of the Matrix, visually defined a generation of filmmaking. The complex bullet time sequences and aerial battles were only achievable through intense digital compositing and rendering. The creation of entirely new ecosystems further highlights CGI's necessity. The depiction of the Na'vi running through glowing alien jungles on Pandora and Avatar was a triumph of digital world building. That environment and characters inhabiting it simply could not exist using practical effects alone. The bioluminescent flora and the six-legged creatures required the full immersion of CGI to become a believable reality for audiences. Ultimately, CGI serves as a bridge between the fantastical concepts in a storyteller's mind and the visual reality on screen. By removing the constraints of physical production and the practical effects, CGI has permanently altered the cinematic landscape, allowing contemporary films to explore infinite worlds and impossible actions, proving that imagination, not physics, dictates the boundaries of modern films. CGI has fundamentally reshaped animation, evolving from an enhancement for live-action films into a powerful art form of its own. Today, the majority of animated films are created entirely through computer-generated imagery, where nothing is visually filmed. Every character, environment, and movement is constructed inside of a digital workspace rather than on a soundstage. Artists design worlds from the ground up, controlling every light, shadow, texture, and motion with precision. This complete creative control allows for an incredible range of styles, from the near photorealistic animals of The Lion King to the bold, textured, and comic book aesthetic of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. CGI has made animation a limitless visual medium. CGI has also revolutionized the film industry's creative and economic landscape. No longer just a visual effect, it has also become a backbone of modern blockbuster filmmaking. A look at the highest grossing films of all time shows that nearly all rely on heavy CGI to create massive worlds, epic battles, and unforgettable spectacles. Franchises like Avatar, The Avengers, and Star Wars dominate the box office by delivering the scale and immersion that traditional filmmaking alone cannot achieve. This shift began with Titanic in 1997, the first film to cross the $1 billion mark, which blended practical effects with groundbreaking digital imagery to tell a deeply emotional story. Its historic success proved that CGI-driven spectacles could captivate audiences worldwide and redefine what a blockbuster film could be. In the end, CGI revolutionized the film industry, reshaping how movies are made, how stories are told, and how audiences experience cinematic worlds. It pushed filmmaking beyond physical limitations, allowing creators to build entire realities from imagination alone. Through its visual power and technical innovation, CGI transferred cinema into a medium where scale, emotion, and creativity could reach levels never possible before.